You are now listening to the Living Numbers and Tony Rambles. Tony Rambles. Tony Rambles. Rambles. And the Living Numbers Podcast.
So they had the spot come open. I'm like, yep, I'll take that. It was easy.
Boy, Tony been there for 4 years, man.
It don't even feel like that. It really feel longer, honestly.
Is your ultimate goal to just stay, as a teacher, or you want to do higher ed or what? Principal, assistant principal?
Definitely not principal.
No.
Oh, heck no. No. Principal is really just putting out fires all the time.
They put out fires, bro.
That's it.
That's
Like,
you
I'm
pay
like,
the big dollars for.
That's not what I came here for, though.
Yeah.
It's really not. I came here to, I don't know, the teaching part is my favorite part of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So
You probably stick with that vein and stick with it.
To take that out, I'm like, why am I here if I'm not teaching?
It makes complete sense, man.
All right, I think we good.
Man, what made you start your podcast? Like, what was your thought process behind it?
So I feel like my gift is my voice.
Okay.
So when I go, all right, I sing at church.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. I'm a teacher. Is who I am.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, I'm a teacher. So the next easy progression was just, all right, let's do a podcast. Let's see how that go. Because I like to tell stories. I like to talk to people. I like to connect.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's try the podcast out. I have been wanting to do something. I didn't know what it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because, I like sports. So initially it was like, maybe I could do a sport. No, I know I can do a sports podcast, but I have so many interests in other stuff. So I didn't want to just be stuck, like just talking about sports all the time.
Right.
So that's when I was like, all right, I wanted to do a podcast with my wife about marriage.
Mm-hmm.
But she like, I don't really want to do a podcast. She's not a talker.
Yeah. Right.
So I was like, all right, I guess it's just me. Which that was a hump for me to get over. Like, I didn't want to do it by myself.
It's hard to step out there on faith sometimes, bro.
Yeah.
I'm still constantly dealing with it. Trials and tribulations, man.
All right, we ready.
Rocking and rolling.
We rolling, baby.
It's it.
All right, here we go. Ready to punch in?
Yeah, man, as ready as I can be, man.
I
As
got
ready
it.
as I can be.
I got a little intro for you and everything.
Okay.
You can't see.
Oh, like you got the intro.
Yeah.
Okay. Bet I shouldn't say, man, because I'm not. I'm not good. I'm not good with those.
This is the Living Numbers Podcast, and I am your host, Tony Rambles. And I got a very special guest here for y'all today. First and foremost, before we get into the intro, before we get into the numbers, y'all know what time it is. Like, subscribe, download, share. YouTube, Apple, Spotify, everywhere. Check it out. Of course, you can email the show, onetonyrambles@gmail.com. Follow me on IG at _TonyRambles_. And comment, all of that. Let me know what you think. Here we go.
Yeah.
This is my favorite part of every episode.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Hailing from the ATX. Okay, that's Austin, Texas.
Yes, it is.
Former University of Houston football team walk-on.
Yes.
Lead instigator from room 916.
I don't know about that.
That might have been me. Featured in Voyage Houston, Creative Canvas, and the11power.com.
Yeah.
Creator of Shop Never Closed.
Yeah.
Check the merch.
Yeah.
Graphic designer and illustrator, my homie, Chris Robinson.
Man, I appreciate that intro, bro.
You like that?
How you got that? You did your homework.
Homework, baby. I'm an
Yeah,
investigator.
it's like Nardwar. Is it Nardwar? Yeah, I think so. That's dope, man. I appreciate that intro.
Yeah. I told you it's my favorite part because I get to really pump up the person that's coming on because I have each person on for a reason.
Yeah, I forgot some of that stuff, man.
Yeah. 916. I actually have your number saved in my phone.
Yeah.
And next to it is Chris, 916.
The room. That's crazy.
So
I would never remembered that. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's crazy.
See, I try to pull some stuff that people be like, oh yeah.
I
forgot about
that did.
So we met in college at University of Houston.
Right.
I was older than everybody else.
Yes, sir. Yeah, a little bit.
And I distinctly remember me being the person that had to buy all of the beverages for us over the weekends.
That's probably a strong possibility. It's probably a very strong possibility.
That was fun. Like what? Okay, we're just gonna start at college.
Yeah,
just reminisce for a little bit. So like, what do you remember like most fondly of those days?
I think there's just the idea of having some of the friendships and like kinships I still have, right?
Yep.
You know, Justin, you, Phil, Dre, Prince. Just, you know, everybody that was on that floor and what they're doing right now, just watching everybody kind of flourish and become their own men.
It's crazy.
It's just been a pleasure to see, man. It's been dope.
To see like Justin, like in DC doing this thing.
Right.
And then to see Drake, he does graphic design too as well, right?
Yeah, he's a creative director. Yeah.
Haven't y'all done stuff together?
Yeah. Actually, Dre was my boss for almost the last 5 years. I know that sounds crazy to say, but we were working together, and he is the creative director. Justin is back down here in Texas now.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he's in Dallas doing his thing. So, you know, winning cases, man, being great.
And Prince, is he still acting?
Yeah, man, Prince out here doing his thing.
That's crazy.
Like I said, man, everybody just flourishing, man.
That's 7th floor, and of course you were from the 9th floor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would guess, like, if we all were to just, like, get together, even now, like, it would just be all love. Like, it would be awesome.
Of course, man. Yeah,
we got to try to kind of set that up.
Yeah, I mean...
Try.
Yeah. I mean, trying it never hurts, you know? People are just... I guess the cool thing about social media is that it does allow you to stay kind of connected.
Yes.
Because a lot of us, when we go off, graduate, or do whatever we do, that's when the fall off starts. Right?
Of course.
But... yeah, man, everybody doing well, you know?
Yeah.
Healthy, starting families, doing their own things.
Right. Justin is married too, huh?
Yeah, Justin's married. Yeah.
What about Dre?
Dre just he got engaged.
Yeah. I thought I saw something. Yeah. And that's our number. Our first number is 916. That was Chris's room at the Towers.
Right.
Where we all used to hang out and just kick it. David, I had saw him not too long ago.
Really? Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'm getting mixed up. I know I saw him at some kind of party or something.
Okay.
That's the last time I saw him, and then I think he went back overseas.
Possibly.
Him and his wife.
Okay.
He was our moral compass. Like that dude was like,
right.
He was kind of our leader. He was the one that's like, y'all don't get in too much trouble.
Right. Him and Valentine, man, they were great RAs.
Yeah, the RAs.
Man,
and so I ended up leaving, and I told you I'll tell you this story. So that first year, or that first semester I was there was the spring semester.
Right.
And so that went off, I can't say without a hitch, because like I owed money.
Yeah.
I didn't get my my FAFSA done because of like my parents' tax return.
Mm-hmm.
So like I couldn't get any money. So my dad ended up like helping me pay for that first spring semester. And so the fall semester came around, it was kind of like, well, like you still don't have a FAFSA, so you're not getting any financial aid.
Yeah, same problem. Same, like I'm saying, the same problem persisted from.
Yes, it never went away.
It never went away.
Just prolonged the inevitable.
Right.
So I ended up like, I mean, you're not getting financial aid. You know, I had no money to give away.
Yeah, that's the sad part, man. Like, that was the one of the eerie things that I learned about college, man. Like, you can be a great student, but this is still a business.
Yep.
And if you ain't paying,
they don't care about your sad story.
Yeah, no.
Like, it's not my fault. Like, yeah.
It's nobody's
Whatever.
fault in their opinion, you know.
So I ended up gone after that fall semester to
Yeah.
1 to 10. And I would just say like so much happened. Like my wife, I met her at U of H.
Mm-hmm.
And I originally wanted to walk on the football team with you. We were supposed to do it together. And then, here's another sad story. So I went to 3 different high schools. And so they want transcripts from all of them. And so the high school I went to in Michigan, I'm like, how do I get a transcript from this school?
Right.
I didn't connect like, oh, let me just call my mom. Maybe she can help me. Or I called and it was like, well, we don't have them. Like it's been so long since you've been here.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
I'm like, oh well, I guess I'm not playing football. I just gave up.
Yeah, man. I think for just kind of piggybacking off of that, like you said, the give up part is where the dreams die.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's like even the premise of like my brand, like Shop Never Closes. It's not a physical thing, bro.
Right.
Like I don't look at it as like you need to work yourself to death physically.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? Having 10 to 12 jobs.
It's like up here.
That's it. That's your shop. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has one. You the owner of your own shop. Whether
Yeah.
you work a 9 to 5 or whatever you punch your clock in it, you know what I'm saying? You got your own shop within you, man. As long as
Yeah.
that don't close, you got a chance. You
So
know what I'm saying?
You were asking me like how to start doing the podcast, and
Yeah.
I was just thinking like, I'm always like tinkering. Like, okay, I had this creative side, but you don't. If you working at the bank, like, ain't no creative side to that.
Right.
You just talk. You open up accounts or whatever. There's no outlet. So this was kind of that thing for me. Like, okay, how can I like?
Explore and express.
Yeah, how can I explore and express? Like that's why the guitars are up here too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause I play. Like I'm keep saying that I'm a guitar player.
Yeah.
And, until I.
You are, bro. You are.
I'm a guitar player.
There you go.
I'm a guitar player.
There you go.
No self-sabotage.
Yeah.
So I'm always tinkering. Like my setup is different from like just last week or 2 weeks ago because I'm like, okay, what can I do different? What can I do better? Like what are some things like with Shop Never Closed, like that you could say from the beginning that you had started until now that you have like just kind of
And they kind of changed it.
Yeah.
The main thing was finding my voice as far as being a creative, and I was shying away from the inevitable. Like I've always been like an artist / creator. I went to school for that, for graphic design, so
Yeah.
it was always in me, and it was something that I was going to do, but I was conforming a lot.
like how in what way?
I was just kind of dimming the light on the idea of pushing forth Black identity as a creative and trying to be like, I want the big gigs, I want to work with the big brands, so I need
Right.
to have it look a certain way, etc. And man, it was the complete opposite. Like the big brands actually started coming when I started expressing and exploring who I was and what I was.
Yeah.
So
That Black culture side.
Black culture, yeah. And it was always there. It was always something I wanted to present, but I was like, man, I thought I had to go about it a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
I know that veered off, but back to how the brand is and started. It was right when COVID started.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of started throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Like I was saying it.
Shop Never Closed.
Yeah, I was saying it. and
It's
then-
real easy. It flows
yeah,
too.
it just went, and then I started putting it on everything that I did. Like I was like, man, this is gonna be my tagline. This is my just do it. You know what I'm saying?
Shop Never Closed.
Shop Never Closed. So, I started putting it on everything, and then that organic feeling. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you've been in a situation or like, I don't know how to describe it, but like people were responding back to it without me asking. And I'd post something, and then somebody would like it and be like, "Shop Never Closed,"
Never
right?
Closed.
And I'm like, "You get it." So if they're getting it, that means I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
And even like speaking with you just now, I hadn't coached you up on it or anything, but you had already decided that it wasn't a physical thought process. You knew what I meant by that, and so again. I'm having these conversations with people that don't know each other that say the same thing, which means the brand is working.
It's working.
The way that it's supposed to. So
Man, that's so good. So, okay, one of my questions that this is me tinkering. I'm like, okay, what's gonna be something that I always like ask every guest?
yeah.
right? I've been just like, all right, okay. So this is like one of the I came up with two.
Okay.
Because I feel like these are two things that anybody can answer, no matter what walk of life, no matter how old you are, no matter what you've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
These are two things that you can more than likely answer. Okay, so one of them is, where would you spread your ashes? No, I'm just playing. That's not a question.
I was thinking.
I have that in there. This is part of my tinkering right here. But one of the questions is, if you weren't doing graphic design, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't doing graphic design, what would I be doing?
Yep.
Well, I was doing the sports thing, living that lifestyle. A lot of people ask me, was your ultimate goal to go to the NFL? That wasn't my ultimate goal, man. What I had prayed for and asked God for was to allow me to have my school paid for, and to play the Division I school, and I got to do that. So the sports thing would have been phenomenal if it happened, but it wasn't it wasn't the end all be all for me.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, man, I always wanted to be a firefighter.
A firefighter.
Yeah.
That sounds like one of the most dangerous jobs you can do.
I know. Demeanor wise, I'm not a very rah type of person, but I just thought I can be a good firefighter. You know what I'm saying?
Well, actually, I would flip it the other way, because if you're going into a house that's burning down,
man,
you can't have somebody that's like, let's go do it. You gotta have somebody that's like, okay, this is the layout. I got my axe right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna listen, and I'm gonna go up the stairs if I can. If not, I'm gonna go
save a couple people.
Like,
man.
exactly. You gotta just you gotta be methodical, step by step. You can't be doing all this extra stuff.
Yeah, bro. So that's one of the jobs that I did. Firefighter, man. Yeah.
Have you ever like even still like looked into it?
Yep. Sure did. I did it over the pandemic, man. I looked at it. I was like, man, how much this class is gonna be, man?
What you think?
What I could do, man. Maybe I just keep it in my back pocket. But I went kind of all in.
Yeah.
On the illustration side, even I've started to veer away from completely calling myself just a graphic designer.
Yeah.
Just because the titles are different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So.
Illustrator sounds like it kind of encompasses everything.
It's even more of a niche, you know what I'm saying, pathway in my opinion. Like illustrators, that's the actual physical artwork that you see on brands and different things like that. The designer themselves usually take the work of the illustrator and put it together.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So
you're like, I can do this from the ground up.
Yeah. I like the hands-on part of it where I can, like you said, do it from the ground up.
I like that. I don't know. We were talking. That creative side, man, is just something that if you're a creator, like that's something that's gonna always like pull at you.
Yeah.
And so like to not do that, you would have been doing yourself a disservice, and I mean everybody else that's connected to the brand, because I'm scrolling, and every time something of yours pop up, I'm like, oh yeah, double tap that. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm like, dang, this is good stuff. This person's shop never closed. This person's always thinking and tinkering, like, what can I make? Like, how does that process work for you? Like, when you get an idea to posting it, which is like the end result.
Yeah, man, it's funny you say that, because I have a madman approach to it, and I think as I get into like reading on a lot of people about their success stories and different things like that, and I'm starting to get into a lot more of that literature side of just like looking into people that I look up to. And one thing that is consistent is that when it hits you, it's hard for you to turn it off, right? So like, I don't sleep much, bro. Like, a lot of people get on me in my circle about that, but I can't help it, because if it's stuck in my head, I gotta get it out.
Yeah.
Because if not, I'm not gonna sleep no way. You know what I mean? So, I kind of have this madman approach, and I try to turn it off, but it's difficult, man. Like, even on my way over here to meet you, at the studio, it's just like I was looking at stuff and like, man, I can make that, I can design that. But I'm looking at stuff all the time, taking it apart and rearranging it. So the method to my madness is being cognizant of the fact that I will isolate myself at times to make this thing come to life. Because as a creative, that's really what we do. We taking ideas that people can't see and giving them real world, breathing, living, like you can touch this is malleable, you can see this and feel this, you know what I'm saying? So,
and they go, dang, like I didn't even know that you could make that out of this.
Yeah, or you could think that from my idea, you know. So I'm not very strict as far as like how I approach a process, but I do approach a process from a standpoint of get it out of my head, put it on some type of substrate, paper, my iPad or something. Right. And then I start doing, like I said, the madman thing. I start picking it apart, rearranging it, setting stuff up. This don't look right here, this look right there. Yeah. Color theory, this, how does this make you feel? I go through all of these different processes while I'm thinking about it, you know, and put forth something that I feel like my client, myself, or my audience is going to appreciate and want. So
that's one of my, I guess, my pillars. Like when I'm editing my episodes, I'm like, okay, is this good?
Right.
Would I listen to this?
Right. That's the hardest thing. The hardest thing to do, bro, is to be a creative and sit there with your own stuff because you made it, you know? Yeah. And so, like, my last big project, but well, besides Adobe, but like my own personal one was like the 28 Days of Black I did for Black History. And
that was hot.
The first day, bro, like the very first one, I was nervous. Yeah. Why was I nervous? Because I'm a human, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
once I send this, it's out there.
Will it flop? And then the next day I did it again. And the first day it went well, the second day went well, and the third day the numbers dwindled. And then I was like, what do? Do you keep going? Right. Or do you say, people ain't feeling no more? I kept going. I was like, I'm gonna do this 28 days. Y'all just gonna have to be, this is just gonna be a part of my journal. Yeah.
Hit or miss, it is what it is, we're gonna go.
Yeah, bro, it was the best feeling for me to let go of the idea of questioning whether the people that like coming to my page or being a part of that experience were gonna like it or not because they like me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna let you know, like, I was looking for him.
Yeah.
What's gonna be the next one?
It got to the point to where, like, I was too deep. Like, once I had got to day 10, people was like, hey, I'm ready for tomorrow. And I was like, tomorrow not here yet. So I was like, dang, I'm gonna literally have to do 28 of these. You know what I mean?
How long did it take you to make one?
It's crazy you said that. So Dre was kicking it with me this weekend.
Pull up, Dre. Shout out to Dre Green.
Yeah. Shout out to Dre Green. And he was kicking it with me this weekend, and he asked the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Y'all, believe it or not, those are every morning I wake up at 4:30, and those are my morning sketches. So I do a 30-minute sketch just to warm up.
Every day?
Every day. I do a 30-minute sketch. Then I go to the gym. Then I come back and I get started. And that's just my routine.
Okay.
And so for February, I said I'm doing somebody black every day for 30 minutes. Like my 30-minute sketches, whoever they gonna be, they don't even have to correlate. You know what I mean?
Just a black person.
Yeah. And so I would do my sketch, and then go do my work. Come back from work, come home from work, or whatever project I was working on that day, and then I gave myself an hour and a half. Yeah. To do the illustration and color it out.
To finish it.
Yeah, because it's a good practice too. You know, it keeps me sharp, and if you look at it from where I started to where I ended, you can see how detailed it started to get towards the end. So
step by step.
Yeah, man, it was a good practice.
So like 2 hours in like work time.
2 hours. You said
a 30-minute sketch and then an hour and a half to finish it.
Yeah, I say I take about 2 hours a day to work on each one.
Man, because I'm like, here we go. Where is that? There we go. Double tap. And so, I mean, I'm not one of those people that's like on social media all the time. But that was one of those things. I'm just like, okay, what Chris gonna pull out the head today?
That was my other point too, bro, because I know people aren't on social media every day. I know that, and I know they're not on there all times of the day. So if I was consistent, I could at least give somebody one. Yeah. It was weird too. Not weird, but I mean, it did what it's supposed to do on social media. It built my following up.
Yeah, it popped off.
Yeah, it started going up. So That's not what that was there for. That was because, to be honest, you ever heard the highs and lows of being a creative, right?
Yeah.
Like when you up there and you making money, you got the projects rolling in, it feels good. And you go into one of them valleys and you like, man,
bro, y'all don't mess with them up?
Y'all mess with me up.
I'm not good for it?
Yeah, man. So I tell people, man, when you in that valley, that's when you can do your best work because it's just you. You don't have to conform to what nobody's saying, no briefs or nothing. That's on you. So
You just make what you make.
man, that month had got slow for me. I said, man, I'm finna go to work. I'm gonna start
Yeah.
working on my merch. I'm gonna start working on these posters.
I'm gonna have to have our homie Chris do the merch. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
man.
I gotta have a Tony Rambles hat.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
We gonna make something happen for sure.
We're gonna connect. Okay, so you talked about the firefighter thing. I was talking to this police officer. I don't know why they both just kind of go hand in hand, but this what we're talking about kind of spoke to a story that he told me.
Mhm.
And so there was a threat at a school,
Okay.
and he was telling me how they had to get 5 subpoenas in 24 hours because they had to figure out like whose device it was, where did it come from. So you got to get a subpoena from like T-Mobile, and then you got to get a subpoena to go to the people's house and to search the phone, like all of that
It's
stuff.
connected. Right.
Everything is connected. And so he was like, there's so much happening behind the scenes that people don't know about.
Absolutely.
And so parents can get upset like, well, why didn't they tell us this? Or why didn't we know earlier? Or why did y'all do this? And it wasn't really like that big of a deal. Or how come y'all didn't make it a bigger deal?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, bro, like we had to get 5 subpoenas in one day. Do you know? Like
It's happening in real
that is
time.
not exactly like in real time. Do y'all know like how much work we are doing behind the scenes to make sure like all the kids are safe and at this thing? Because a lot of times they end up being nothing, but the one time that is something, like
It's huge.
That's exactly.
It's major.
Exactly.
For
So
sure.
it reminds me of a job that I had before. Oh, and our number is 5. It reminds me of a job that I had before and that my dad talks about, where we worked in safety and construction.
Mm-hmm.
And so most of the time, you remember that?
I remember that.
Most of the time, your job is very easy. It's a lot of walking around, talking to people, make sure they're not working unsafe. But if something happened where somebody get hurt, or somebody fall, like
That one case.
here we go. Like
this
it's
is
your
what you
time.
get paid for,
It's
right.
time to shine. And my friend Enrique, who was on here a couple of episodes ago, he is an air traffic controller.
Okay.
And he was, and he was just like, most of the time, very easy. He said, I could teach a monkey how to do this in 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, the one time when things don't go correctly,
That's
like,
what you're there for.
here we go.
Yeah.
Like lights on.
Yeah.
And he said, like, either if there's a day where I don't have to see a fire truck, an ambulance, I think he said like a hearse or something. Y'all go back and check out that episode. He was like, that's a good day.
Yeah.
Because if any of those are showing up,
That's crazy.
it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a big problem. Somebody's life is on the line.
That's an issue.
Yeah,
That's
so, and there's so much work that's being done behind the scenes. Like I was fiddling with this stuff, people won't see that in the episode.
Right.
But
the setup to even make this happen.
just to make it happen.
It's a process.
Exactly.
It's
They
a
don't see the
process.
lights. They don't see the camera. They don't
I mean,
see
even let alone just like actually getting your guest here.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, man, I got time right here, but I can't do this, and this.
So, like, if y'all see where I don't have a guest on here, more than likely, it's scheduled.
It was scheduled.
Just like last week I shared on episode 37.
Mm-hmm.
37 in numbers, actually closer to 40, I think. I had 2 guests that I kicked it with, 2 teachers, and we have been trying to plan this episode for like months.
Yeah.
Months.
I'm already knowing.
No audio. Hour and a half worth of content. I messed something up, something happened, whatever the case may be. No audio. I mean, the shot was outside. You would have loved it as a creator. I mean, the background was perfect.
It was on point. You had to set up.
The day was perfect. It wasn't too cold, wasn't too hot. Nah, it was some dogs and stuff outside, but you could deal with that for a good episode.
Yeah.
No sound. So I'm like, dang. I wanted to get on and do like I wanted to do an episode just where I'm upset. and I'm telling everybody about it. I probably should have did it, but it ended up just being the episode where you go, well, like everything's not gonna go your way.
It doesn't, bro. Everything does not go our way. And this is about what's next.
Yeah.
I turn the microphone on, I turn the computer on, I turn the camera back on, I do another one. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it.
And then I tell, those two teachers, I need y'all again. Maybe not right now, because it's gonna take us some time to get it all together, but yeah, bro, I deal with that all the time. Like literally being a graphic designer, anybody out there that's a graphic designer, photographer, videographer.
Yeah, shout out to the creators, the people making stuff. We need y'all.
They know that, even though you chose this type of line of work, we wake up every day. Just hear me out on this part. Like you said about the bank tellers and that's a very specific type of job, right? The principle of what I do is based on someone else's opinion always. It's never there's no A to Z of it. Like there's no hey, this is a flyer.
Right. I cashed a check. It's $500. I give you $500 back. That's it. That's the end. No. Tony
want his flyer green. Bridget want her flyer orange. I gave her a green flyer because I know Tony like green flyers. That's an issue for her.
Yeah.
So literally every day you wake up and you literally have to deal with some form of scrutiny, right?
Dang, that's tough.
Or some form of judgment over something that you made for this individual in hopes that they like it.
You put your hard work and effort into it.
Yeah, man. So
and you thought you did it to the specifications that they asked for.
You sat there, you talked to them, you did all of the pre-client work that you were supposed to do. And then, it wasn't their vision, because a lot of times when you're pulling visions out of people, you're pulling it from a place where it doesn't physically exist. And a lot of people don't know how to articulate exactly what I want, but when I see it, I know it. You know what I mean?
That's funny that you say that, because all I do is work with people, helping people to speak, to articulate. And so I'm always telling them, it's in the details. A lot of times we just leave out the details as if they don't matter. I'm like, no, the details, that's where people get to really see, get to really, really start to write things down. And I can draw that up. I can see it. It's all in the details. So I was actually got my first, speaking engagement.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a guest speaker for National Honor Society at our school.
Okay.
And it's not the same as just doing something, because I didn't have to do this. They said we need a guest speaker.
And you were
Mr. Franklin. Yeah. Can you do it? And so I had to write up a speech and everything.
Right.
And so I found myself kind of in the kids' seat now, because I have them do all these speeches all the time in class in front of everybody. Okay, here's what you're gonna do. Is it gonna be good? I said, if it's not gonna be good, you need to go practice again.
Right.
You need to go change something.
And now you in the hot seat.
I'm in the hot seat. Yeah. But I'm good though. I was good with it. I'm like, all right, let me show you how it's done.
Right.
And so I got it the day before. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I can do this. And so it took me. We had softball practice, and after softball practice, I'm just like you said, I'm kind of putting ideas down. I have stuff in my head that I'm putting down beforehand, before I actually write the speech. So I'm like, what about this? What about this? I could say this. Will people connect to this? Will people like this? How can I paint the picture? Because everything was built around scholarship, leadership, service, and it was one more. So I'm like, okay, these are my 4 words. These are my pillars. So I just talked about serving in different areas, serving as a teacher. And it was kind of a shout out to the students that I do it for. Shout out to the kids that are in my class, because there are some things that if you haven't taken my class before, you won't even know.
Yeah.
So at the end, I always tell my kids, at the end of your speech, you have to say thank you for listening. That's how people know you're done, and it's not awkward. So at the end of my speech, what did I do? Thank you for listening.
That was it.
So there are little nuggets for everybody. And so even for teachers, I talked about how, I do it for the math teachers. They got to make sense of, how letters fit in math. You know,
Still
we
don't get
like
to
what?
that.
Exactly.
Still don't get to
You know, for the English teachers, they got to stay up and grade papers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, so on and so forth. So I was able to connect with my audience just by putting the words
There you go.
together.
There you
You know,
go.
so like you are creative with the pen. I'm like, all right, if I got to get something that I have to say or that people have to listen to, I'm like, all right, let's put these words here. Now let's change that around. Let's swap this out here. Or this will sound better at the end. Let me kick that down here.
Something works, some don't. And it's about knowing your audience, bro.
That too.
That's the main thing.
100%.
You know, that's so key, knowing your audience. You hit it right on the head, you know. So
And I even appealed to the adults in the room.
yeah.
Because at one point I was like, well, my service doesn't stop here at school. Like my service is in my community where, what did I say? I don't roll stop signs and I keep my grass cut or something like that. Because anybody that lives in the community that owns a house, they're like, bro,
There's things you gotta abide by.
why your grass not cut? Like
Right.
you make it. So yeah, appealing to your audience is something that you always have to do. And even with a podcast, I'm like in that same seat. Like, do people like it? Do people not like it?
Mm-hmm.
Am I putting out stuff that's good? Should I just do sports? Because I know I can do sports.
Right. And then, you know, the numbers kind of are dictators for if it's going well or not, but you don't know what the future is going to be for even like this setting, you know, like we might do something, we might not with numbers, but then it might be a point in time where something happens in the world and we're talking about something that's important and it coincides with what's going on.
Do you listen to, because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you know, they kind of shout out the haters and all that kind of stuff. Do you ever get like any of that kind of blowback?
Is like with my work and stuff?
Yeah.
No, not that I know of, man. Not that I know. I think it like now that I was blessed with the opportunity to be on the world stage with Adobe. I kind of get some of the weirder responses.
Like what?
Like in my DMs, like love your like people give me pointers on how to make my work better.
Oh, okay.
And like
the armchair coach.
Right, yeah. And it's cool, man. I take it all in stride because I know that, you know, at this point in time last year, you know, it was just my handful of friends knew who I was.
Yeah,
know?
wasn't nobody even checking for your Adobe stuff.
Right. So it's I take it in stride. I don't take it offense to, you know, I don't take offense to it.
Right.
Know? But
I had somebody comment on one of my videos, my last episode. It was so weird too because I don't know the person.
Yeah.
And they don't have like an actual picture. It's like a,
I
you know, when you go on like.
I don't know if I should talk back to this avatar thing.
Exactly. You know when you go. Do you still play games?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you know how like you could choose like your avatar. It could be like a little army man or a little car or something.
Yeah.
So this one said like something like if you don't put out another video, it's gonna be the Dead Numbers podcast, not the Living Numbers podcast.
Yeah, that's.
I thought it was kind of clever, kind of funny.
You got me, bro.
I was like,
I think like the only time that it was openly like that, I've never, like I said, just experienced it on my page because I think most people that are following me,
they rock with you.
Like it's a grassrooted audience. Like I haven't bought anything, but the one time that I did get like some blowback was even before the whole branding thing. I had did like this set of posters with black quarterbacks.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Sean Watson was one of them.
Yeah, I did like Deshaun and Mahomes, and I did everybody. And like I just remember like one dude went in there, like his comments still there, and he was like, he said something real weird about me doing just black quarterbacks. I thought was strange.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I think my response was, well, you gonna buy the poster or not? So I don't even know if that comment's still there, but like stuff like that, man, I think too, being able to start to grow my audience at this age is allowing me to be able to not be so confrontational and in my feelings. You know what I mean?
You're more comfortable in your skin.
Yeah, man.
Like if you would
the younger version of me probably would have been in my feelings for sure. Yeah, I would have had something to say. But it's a lot more comfort.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing. I mean, as you get older, hopefully you just feel more comfortable with who you are. So like what people say don't really just like, all right, whatever.
And then too, bro, what's wild is that we as human beings don't like feeling bad about ourselves, right? That's a natural thing to do. So even in that statement or even in the question, I'm pinpointing out the one person out of thousands of people that have showed me love is ridiculous to me.
Right.
Like, I mean, people like every day are encouraging me, and there's one person or these two people, or even if it gets to, I don't care, 10, 20,
right,
that are saying that they hate me.
It's not even close to the number of people that support. Yeah,
man. It's not even close.
But those things, they stick out in our mind.
They stick out.
Because a lot, like what you said earlier, is like, wait a second. Like, you know how much time and energy like that I spent on this? And all of these people say it's cool. Mm-hmm. But then we got this one person that's like, oh no, that's terrible. Like, you should never draw anything, or you should never put anything out like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. And then you shift your energy, you know what I mean? And
if you're not careful.
Once you shift your energy, it might be hard to get it back.
You still hoop?
No, man. I mean, not like that. I just like to work out now. You know what I'm saying? Stay in shape.
You look good, man.
Run around. Trying, man. Appreciate it.
I remember we used to go to the gym.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Good times. Good competitive times, right?
Yeah. I was, and I couldn't even...
With the left hand, man. I was doing y'all bad with the left hand.
Was I any good? Be honest.
Yeah, nah, you were good, man. You was good. I know, like, you were much more of a hooper than I ever was, That wasn't my initial sport. I played everything in high school. And so...
you hear that, kids? Play everything.
Like, I had fun. Like, I worked the whole job and still was playing all the sports. I played baseball too. I did it all.
So I'm a softball coach now.
Yeah.
And our number here is gonna be, I don't know, what time is it? It's 3:42. Okay. That's gonna be our number because I didn't come up with one. But I was having this thought, right? Because I had an evaluation with my basketball coach, my head coach. Shout out to Coach Lee. And she said, okay, like, the evaluation went well. And she was like, just one thing that we got to kind of tweak is when you come in the gym, like, you can't pick up a ball. Like, you a coach now. Mm-hmm. So I was like, dang, you sure right. I had thought about that, but I didn't know she was going to say something about it. Because, my natural thing to do is to pick the ball up, get a feel for it. But she's like, go talk to a player or whatever. And I was just like, man.
Yeah, you got to separate yourself.
You have to. And that's hard for me, especially right now because I feel like I'm in good shape. Like, I'm still fast. I can still jump. Like, I'm still...
Hey, man. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I tried to get on the court with some guys that was 20. And I said, oh, that's different.
Yeah.
Y'all are going to recover a lot different than I will. So
I still feel like I can get out there with whoever.
Yeah, man.
That's why it's so hard for me.
Yeah. No, I feel that I don't have any of the I enjoy watching the kids now. Like, my high school, shout out to LBJ, Austin, Texas, East Side, Northeast Side at that.
Pull up.
They went to state this past year.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, they did great, man. Like, I was so proud of all them kids. And what's even wilder is, like, one of my teammates and homies, he's the assistant coach now up there.
Man, that's cool.
And so it's just like that 360 thing where you get to watch people grow and mature and become their best version of themselves. So yeah, man, like I enjoy watching like the younger versions of us flourish now. Like, I got friends with kids that are going into high school and stuff, and watching them, like, it's crazy, man. Watching them starting to do things, it's just cool. It's just cool. I'm enjoying that part now.
When did you get to the point, I guess physically, where you was like, nah, like I'm gonna have to do something else?
Physically,
yeah.
Well,
cause you what, like 30?
Yeah, 31. I think physically, I was like, I'm just focused on it being healthy versus being competitive.
When?
That's a tough question, Tony, man. That's a good question. The win.
Was it like a time where you went and hooped with some people, or was it a time where you was like, out playing flag football or something? Like,
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I remember that now. I do remember that. I was out playing flag football.
all right. I just had to guess it could have been flag
Yeah,
football.
we was doing some flag football and had a catch, good, you know, had a little touchdown and everything. But I was winded afterwards. I said, yeah, that's it. We can hang this up, man. We don't have to do this no more. You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
man.
Cause there's no way I could get hit by somebody right now. There's no way I could tackle. There's no way.
I'm not tackling anybody.
There's no way.
That's not happening.
It's crazy that even was a part of it. I started to think about that. Just to run into a human being every day. It's crazy.
Full speed. Felt good about it too.
Felt great about it.
Laying people out.
Like I could even like working out.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy working out. But I be tired sometimes. I'm like, dog, I feel that. You know what I mean? So I've had to tweak my diet over the years.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Like, so I feel like I want to say like my peak physical self.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say like 29.
Okay.
I'm 32.
Yeah.
I'll be 33 in May.
Okay.
So at like 29, I felt like, cause I was working out, like I was hooping, and I just felt like, you know, like
You was up there.
anybody could come out here and we good. I'm good.
Yeah.
But just like kind of 30, 31.
Mm-hmm.
At one point I had a sprained ankle. It put me down for like 2 months.
Yeah.
It was bad. I'm like, dang, okay.
That recovery wasn't so quick, huh?
It wasn't so quick. It wasn't no tighten the strings, go back out there, we good. Like it was, I couldn't push off that joint.
Yeah, man. I really started monitoring just like my intake. I'm just a clean eater. I'm not a vegan, but I enjoy vegan food a lot.
Yeah.
So I do like the super clean stuff. I try to encourage people around me to do it.
Yep.
Um,
When we came back from China, that's when we started to flip our diet a little bit more. That was in 2017 when we came back. So like kind of from there, a lot like what you just said, it's like, all right, what can I cut out or at least limit?
mm-hmm.
And so instead of eating Whataburger all the time, you know, first off, that's expensive.
It gets very expensive.
And number two, like, okay, if I could just do this like once every 2 weeks or just on the weekend have a day where, and even when you go and eat out or you eat these foods, it's not like I'm eating out all day. It's like I might go to IHOP for breakfast, me and my wife. But still the rest of the day, you still kind of eating like your normal stuff. You just had that one or two meals over the weekend.
Yeah.
Where you kind of, you know, get it out your system, you know, have some ice cream. I still love ice cream.
Yeah.
That's not going away. But every day for lunch, I eat salad. And my kids are like, every day you gonna eat a salad? I'm like, yeah. And some days I'm like, man, I don't want to eat this stupid salad.
I mean, yeah, man. I like to introduce people to like different plant-based stuff, you know,
Yeah.
because it's out here to try, you know. So there's a lot of great restaurants popping up that are doing the vegan and plant-based stuff.
Oh, that's huge now.
Fire.
Okay. Speaking of going out to eat, when you learn how to tip, do you know how to tip?
Yeah, I mean that was early on for me though, because
How'd that happen?
so another crazy Chris story for no reason. Like,
Oh yeah, we like it.
I randomly was like, I was 14 and I was like, I'm finna go get a job today. Why? Because I wanted money.
I'm going to get a job
Yeah,
at
I wanted to go
14.
get a job. And so I've been this size for a while. So I was kind of a bigger kid already. And like that's what 8th grade I think, me 14, 16.
You have a beard already too?
I had a beard yet.
Oh, okay.
No, I was not like that. But I went up to Domino's and I was like, hey man, I want to work here. And he was like, okay, cool. He went to give me an application. He thought about it. He said, how old are you? I was like, 15. He was like, that's not old. No, you gotta be 16. I was like, okay. I'll be 16 soon. And he was like, okay, fill it out. So I filled it out, brought it back to him. And then, you know, they
You
want to check
definitely
your
lied on
license.
that application?
Definitely lied on the application. You know, they want to check your license and stuff. I was like, I don't have one of those, man. You gotta just...
Just believe me.
Yeah, you got to believe me. So,
And they did?
no. They didn't, bro. They didn't.
That's funny.
But the manager at the time, I hope he wouldn't get in trouble for this because I don't even know his name. I forgot the guy's name. That's so bad. But the manager at the time was like, man, I like the fact that you do want to work so hard.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you this job just like part time on the side, and then when you get old enough, we'll bring you in for real. And I was like, their kid worker that was selling. You remember back in the day when like they would sell pizzas on the side of the road? You remember like y'all never seen that?
That must be some Austin stuff.
Yeah, it might just been a Texas thing. But if you was in Austin, you know
selling pizzas on the side of the road.
Like we had a little tent, man, and like we would like it was like a marketing thing too. Like we got $5 cheeses right now, but if you go inside, you know what I'm saying, I got more in there. And so it was like a grab to get people to come in and buy.
It wasn't like by the slice though, right?
No.
It was a box.
Like you get a box. It was small, you know the smalls, but
yeah, like a little hot and ready kind of deal.
What, man? I set my little tip jar out there.
I've never seen this before.
Yeah, bro. And the way that I was moving, like people would just randomly come through and appreciate like the customer service I was giving. That's where I learned customer service.
Yes, so important.
And your attitude is going to be the main thing that gets you where you want to be in life.
There you go.
That was like my first, piece of tipping. And then me personally giving back when I got older, I realized that a tip will go a long way, front end and the back end. So like if I'm in a bar or something, I tip my bartender off top. Like, I literally
let's get your engine running.
Yeah, bro, here you go. Let me get you started. So when I'm back up here, I'm not gonna be waiting in this line.
Right. I'm good for it.
Yeah, you've seen it already, And then two, I know how hard it is in that industry, man. Like,
oh yeah.
You make little to nothing, and you sat here and you serviced me and my family. You either had a good attitude or you didn't. Yeah, you had a good attitude or you didn't. So let me compensate you appropriately.
I brought that up because for two reasons, and our number is 0 because I went out with, how can I say this without getting nobody in trouble? So I went out with some people, kids, and as we're leaving, I'm looking at the tickets, zeros. I'm like, bro, like y'all. Because I've been a waiter before.
Right.
So I already know.
The country club. We used to drop you off at the country club.
Yes.
Man, yes.
We
used to drop you off at the golf course, man.
Right, that was...
In the cop car, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my boy Phil. Shout out. Hey, Phil? Bro, we got to get you on. We need to hear some of them Karen Crow stories.
Yeah, man.
So I basically just kind of walked up to the waiter, and I was like, appreciate it. Thank you. I took care of you.
Yeah.
I know we had a bunch of kids here. So, but that was also a thing that signified like wealth. Like if somebody can tip and tip well.
You think so? Or like that's how you feel?
That's how I feel. Like when my Uncle Tony, who I had on, would come down, and sometimes he would just be like, he would take care of the bill. One of those things like, all right, hey, you don't even know it till the end. And it's like, oh yeah, everything's taken care of, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
And so, Uncle Tony's always been kind of looked at like a big shot, basically.
Yeah. That's a money move for sure. I do agree.
And like my dad, when he started making money, now part of it is because he's been a waiter at a bunch of different restaurants. Like he's done that service industry kind of deal. So he pretty much always gonna make sure people are taken care of whenever he go out. But as you start to make a little bit more money, you feel a little bit more comfortable giving a little bit more to that waiter, or even like a stylist, people who cut your hair, because I know you got a tip there too. Yeah. And some people drop that 50 on you. Keep the change. We good. So like, what are some things that kind of signify wealth to you, like growing up that you saw?
Growing up versus now, like you mean as a younger version?
Both, either one.
Because they varied and they changed once I moved out here.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and as you just get older.
As you get older, like, and you start to experience life. But growing up as a kid, on the side of town that I grew up on in Austin, you know, just seeing like some of the neighborhood guys and how they moved and the cars that they were able to have.
Oh yeah, I knew the cars was gonna come up.
And the fashion, you know, those were the things that were highlighted. And then, you know,
Like
fashion.
what's some specific vehicles or some things that people wore?
Well, I mean, like, you know, it was more or less, you know, you see the old school car that was decked out, it was painted, and then to have speakers in there was a real thing back then.
Bang in the trunk.
Yeah, man, and then you had the rims. You know, the rims almost was more than the car, to be honest with you.
Yep.
And so that was just like, that was a wealth symbol to me.
Yeah.
Like growing up, like, dang, he got money. You know what I
Good.
mean? He got money. Or anybody to pull up in my neighborhood at the time in something foreign, like a Beamer or something, was crazy. That was outlandish. Like,
BMW, like Mercedes or something like that.
Like a car was a symbolism of wealth. When really,
You talking about cars, Escalades.
Yeah, man. Those are all liabilities, which is crazy though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They literally depreciate as soon as you get one.
Yeah.
But like that, it's crazy that you grew up with the opportunity of seeing somebody like to do that, the tipping thing, because the only time that I seen that was like when my coaches would take us out as a team. You know what I'm saying?
That's tough.
And like when my mom would take us out, you know, I would watch her do that, but I thought she did because she appreciated the staff.
Right. She was just being a nice lady.
Like right. And yeah, the symbolisms of wealth kind of shifted as I got into school and started to see other things, and it was like, wait, I think the idea of owning something is really like where you start to get financially free, and then having you know, amazing friends like I had that actually got to experience world a little bit differently than me, because they had a little bit more than I had at the time, or whatever the case may be, allowed me to learn from them and just kind of, you know, soak it all in, man.
Yeah, that was man, I just knew at that time I had to take care of that way. I'm like, bro, like, and then when we got to where we were going, like, I just talked to the kids and just like, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, one time it was one specific time. I've always tipped well, but there's one specific time that I'll never forget. I took my mom and my whole family out to eat, and this was like my first opportunity that I had a little something on me, like money-wise, monetarily. And we didn't go. It wasn't no steakhouse or nothing.
Right.
It was the fact that I could at this point. And our waiter was so excellent, bro, that I was like, hey man, here's the bill money, and then here's your tip, and the tip was the same as the bill. And I just remember how elated he was. You know what I mean? But that kid was phenomenal, and he deserved it, in my opinion.
It's like, for me, like, there's a baseline of money that I want to give, especially like when you see that check, you're like, all right, I already kind of know.
Yeah, you kind of have an idea.
What my number is gonna be here.
Right. Yeah.
And as a waiter, to all my waiters and bartenders and people out there, like, you can't completely ignore a table because they look a certain way or whatever your feeling might be, and like expect to like make some money off of them. Because I've had that happen before too. Like, you're like, you just gonna completely ignore us or what?
Yeah, man. I had those run-ins.
Go ahead. Tell us one of those Chris stories.
Nah, man. I mean, I'm the type of person where I'm very much gonna say how I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that, and I'm not loud, but I'm gonna tell you how I feel about you.
Yeah.
And you know, I was with the guys one day, and I didn't like the way the waiter was treating us, so I told him to come over if he didn't mind. I was like, hey man, I don't really like the way you're serving us right now. We're gonna go ahead and get somebody else, if you don't mind. And he kind of took offense to that, but I mean, I wanted to be served the way I wanted to be served that day.
My money good too.
Yeah, so, you know, got the manager over there and tell him, hey, I want somebody else. And so that's what happened.
It's crazy just, you know, going out and just to see how people might think, but you're like, hold on, wait a second. Like, I waited tables for years. Like, trust me, I totally understand like where you're coming from, but it shouldn't really have anything to do with
it shouldn't resonate.
who those people are.
Yeah,
like,
who they are.
You just serve everybody. This is your job. Okay, do it to the best of your ability.
And then hopefully the outcome would be income, you know?
Exactly. And if you don't like it, then you need to get another job.
Get something else. You gotta do something else.
Time to pull up, go back to school.
Yeah, man.
All of that stuff kind of brings us full circle. So, my boy Chris, we on for like what? About an hour now, huh?
We did it, huh? We got some time in, man.
Yeah, we did.
I'm glad, man. Talk to me. What we got left, man?
1, what are you reading? And 2, what got you back into reading?
For me, man, it's a mix of like 3. I got like 3 legs that like I'm doing self care and self growth books. Think and Grow Rich. I don't know if you heard of that before. It's an amazing book that just talks about the power of the mind. And how your thought process attracts the things that you want. And this site specifically is talking about the monetary things.
That sounds like The Secret. You remember that when that came out?
The Secret.
It was like a DVD. It was like the law of attraction, basically. Like if you think about it,
that's what it is, bro. It's literally that. And
I remember Uncle Walt was talking about that. I'm like, man, get this out of here, man.
Man, no, it's real.
It was funny.
It's crazy how that stuff is real. So I'm doing that. I love reading like biographicals on people that are cool. So The Art of Science and Respect by Jay Prince is one of my favorites out right now. Hurricane by Rick Ross. Like I like hearing about those men do business. You know what I'm saying? And then I have a bunch of like design lettering books that I can go through for days. But a lot of the books that I'm interested in are self-awareness, self-care, self-taught books, biographical books on people that I kind of admire as businessmen or women, and then books that are gonna help me further along my career as a creative.
You think wanting to read more just came with maturity?
Maturity and the fact that I was seeking what I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It came with maturity because I was like, man, how do I invest in this?
Right.
Nobody's gonna tell me. So y'all mean I gotta go read about it? I guess I gotta
go read about it.
That's literally what it is, bro. Yeah.
For me, like it's always, and I feel like even just looking back at it now, the books I enjoyed the most were fictional novels.
Yeah.
Whether it was like Harry Potter or the book Holes.
Great stuff. Man, I literally had this conversation with my now boss because I work at Houston Grand Opera as a graphic designer right now. But we was literally talking about this 2 days ago. 3 days ago now.
Yeah?
Yeah, we was literally talking about how books have so many more details into it than the movie can ever squeeze out in an hour.
Yeah, the themes and the tropes and the things that you can learn just from the people, because the books always have more detail because people look at books as like long term. Movie, that's 2 hours. I remember when movies were less than an hour and a half. Now you can't get a movie that's less than 2 hours.
Yeah,
the new Batman is almost 3 hours.
Yeah, it's not for me.
That's too long, but I'm probably going to see it anyway. But for the most part, I like, and so even now, I'm always looking at like science fiction. And I always have to have something that's at least that has another version or volume. Yeah. So I'm usually looking at trilogies because I need the next book to read.
Yeah.
So I just finished a book called The Forever Man from the Warp series. And it's three books where this kid is raised by this older guy to be an assassin, but he doesn't want to be an assassin. But he doesn't really have any family that he knows of, at least not in the first book. But the first one's called The Reluctant Assassin. So when you see the words, I'm like, wait a second. A reluctant assassin, somebody's making you be it. So that caught my eye, and of course the graphic part,
right.
So
right.
You read the back cover, you look at the first couple pages, you're like,
I'm gonna dive into this.
Okay, yeah. I'm here for it. It just unlocks something a little bit different as opposed to watching a movie or watching even videos or anything like that.
I totally agree. I think it helps you start to imagine things, and that's important, right? Like if you lose your imagination, And that's not just as a creative. I think that's just in general to have an imagination to kind of flourish, because that's where your next big opportunity lies within your ability to imagine.
Yep.
And so when you lose the sense of imagination, you lose the sense of ability to think of your next move, your next big thing, and you kind of start to dwindle and fall into just a mundane, everyday lifestyle.
Everyday, Monday through Friday type of deal.
Yeah.
And to bring it full circle, like that imagining part, like for my job, it's easy to kind of build out what you want to do over a school year or a semester and just do the same thing all the time. It's very, very easy to do that. And I'm sure you have some form of that, of kind of having a formula of how to do things, and people will accept it and like it, and it can work. But when you start to look at different ways on how to do the mundane things, that's when you start to kind of break some new ground and start to bring some new ideas forward, and people go, dang, like I didn't even think about it that way, or I didn't even know you could do it that way, or
know it was gonna work.
I didn't know exactly. I didn't know if it was gonna work, or you know what? We all should start doing stuff like this, because this is much better than what we've been doing.
Yeah, man. No, for sure.
So, hey, everybody out there, stay creative.
Absolutely.
Keep reading.
Absolutely.
If you were to give yourself advice, someone that was trying to do what you do, what would that advice be?
Oh man, that's a good one, and it's an easy one, because it is a part of my purpose-driven mission that I feel like God gave to me, and that was the fact that don't think that because you don't see somebody that looks like you that you can't do it. And what I mean by that is, I didn't know the power that I possessed as far as being a creative as a kid, because to be honest, man, this industry it's expensive to upstart, right? If you grow up in a lower income neighborhood, your mom, your dad, they not thinking about buying you a MacBook and all the subscriptions that come with it,
all that
camera
stuff. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got the setup. This stuff costs, and so I think my purpose is to give little black kids that want to be creatives and don't know what's going to be next that opportunity. So I'm starting to map that stuff out, man. I'm putting it in the universe, and it kind of comes into play. But yeah, man, to go forth and try, just try it.
Yep.
You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail, but when you do fail, guess what? If you woke up the next day, you survived your
failure.
Yeah. And so you have a 100% chance of surviving your day of failure if you get to wake up the next day.
Yep.
So
true story.
Whatever you want to do, I think just trying it is when things are gonna start to materialize and open up for you.
All right, so that's it.
That's it, man.
That's
I'm out
it.
the hot seat.
That's it.
True.
Not yet. You got one last thing to do.
True.
Plug your socials, man. Tell them about Shop Never Closed.
Oh,
Where can
man.
they find stuff?
Yeah. Let me get back on the mic, man.
Yeah, there you go. Get in there.
Man, I appreciate you for having me. Tony, I really do, bro. And I can't wait to see, what this becomes and grow. I got to give you your flowers right now. But my social is Chris Can Draw on IG. It's not weird. It's literally spelled how it's supposed to be. ChrisCanDraw.
There we go.
And on there you'll find like all of the links to everything that I'm doing, what's finna come up, big things coming up, new projects I'm working on, super excited about. Most of them I get to be like the guy that I can't tell you because I can't. But once they drop, I let the rest of the family know, man. So yeah, man. The merch is still up. All the shirts, we still got those available.
Go get that in the camera there.
Yeah, we still got the shirts available, man. We'll have our first run start next week. So I'm super excited about that. Thank you everybody who supported me on that one. And continue to support me. And yeah, man, the shop never closed. Right.
What better way to end it?
Right.
This is the Living Numbers Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Rambles.
Hey, man.
Make sure you like, subscribe, download YouTube, Spotify, share. what is that? Rate and review. Yeah, all of that stuff. 5 stars. Y'all know what time it is. Signing off for my boy Chris.
For sure, for sure.
It was awesome, man. Y'all never close.
Always love it. Ooh, good times, man.
That's it.
That flowed. That was good, bro.
It was.
You're gonna be a legend.
Ah.
From the deep, smaller deep.
Nah, real good, man. Real.